A few months ago, I made a video going over what I thought are the most underrated LEGO Star Wars sets every year from 1999 to 2023, and in this video, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go over what I think is the most overrated set from every year, starting with 1999 and ending in 2023. Also, I know it's now obviously 2024, but at the time of me recording this video, the year has just started and we've barely seen any sets from this year so far, so that's why I'm stopping in 2023. Now, my most viewed video and arguably one of the most infamous videos that I've ever made is where I went over what I thought was the worst LEGO Star Wars set every year, and my opinions in that video definitely did get a lot of people riled up, and I do have to give a warning and say that this video is probably going to be the same. And also, first, to sort of ease the backlash, I guess, I kind of want to go over what an overrated set is to me. In most cases, an overrated set is not a bad set at all. It's just a set that, well, gets too much praise and often has flaws that people ignore because they praise it for other things. Or it might be a set that wrongfully overshadows a lot of other sets that were released alongside of it. So just letting you know, an overrated set is usually not a bad set. It's just a set that, well, gets too much praise than it really should. But I also have to say there are some years that didn't really have an overrated set, especially in the earlier years of LEGO Star Wars. So you might just want to keep that in mind as I go over the first 3 or 4 years. And now that I've finally gotten this intro out of the way, let's get on with the list. Starting off all the way back in 1999, the very first year of LEGO Star Wars, I'm going with 7140 X-Wing Fighter. Again, remember I just said that most of the early years of LEGO Star Wars didn't really have any overrated sets. However, if I had to pick one for 1999, it would be this one. This set was released in February of 1999 and retired in December 2001. It has 266 pieces and retailed for $30 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $250 to $300. Now, in no way do I think this is a bad set. It's actually a really good set in my opinion. It's very iconic because it was the first LEGO model of, well, one of the most iconic starfighters in Star Wars, and for 1999, I think they did a great job on it. However, a lot of people consider this to be the best set of 1999, and I don't really think that's the case. I think the best set of 1999 is obviously the Mos Espa pod race, but also the X-Wing does kind of overshadow some of the other sets from that year, the most notable one to me being 7150 TIE Fighter and Y-Wing, which was an incredible 2-in-1 set for the time that only retailed for $50, and both of the models in that set are arguably a lot more accurate and just a lot better looking than the X-Wing. However, the X-Wing gets all the praise. Moving on to the year 2000, I have 7190 Millennium Falcon. This set was released in July of that year and retired in February of 2002. It has 663 pieces and retailed for $100 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $600 to $700. Now, like the X-Wing, this set gets a lot of praise and hype because it was the first LEGO model of a very iconic ship. However, if you look past it just being the first LEGO Millennium Falcon, it's not that great of a set, even for 2000. 2000 was the year that LEGO introduced us to UCS sets, and we got the UCS TIE Interceptor, which was an incredible set that was way ahead of its time, so we knew what LEGO was capable of in 2000, and then on top of that, only 4 years later, LEGO gave us the Episode 5 version of the Millennium Falcon that was just leagues and leagues ahead of this one in only a span of 4 years. Those examples go to show that even for 2000, this set was just not as good as it could have been, and it gets a lot of praise because, well, it's the first LEGO Millennium Falcon. And now moving on to 2001, this is another year where there wasn't really an overrated set, but if I had to pick one, it would be 7186 Watto's Junkyard. This set was released in January of 2001 and retired in December of the same year. It has 443 pieces and retailed for $50 US, and if you want this set sealed in a box today, it's currently going for around $600 to $700. And the reason it goes for so much is because of that exclusive Watto minifigure, which is also the reason that I think this set is overrated. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really cool set that's very unique. Again, I don't think overrated sets are necessarily bad sets. I just think people praise this a little bit too much because of that Watto minifigure, and they don't really pay attention to the pod racer in this set, which I don't really think was as good as the ones released 2 years prior in Mos Espa pod race. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still looks cool. It has a unique blue and white colorway. I just think in 2 years, LEGO could have came up with a better pod racer design, especially considering the fact that at the time they were advancing like crazy, but they didn't do that, and people don't acknowledge that because of the exclusive Watto minifigure. Moving on to 2002, there really wasn't an overrated set this year. If I had to pick one, it'd be 7142 X-Wing Fighter, which was just an exact re-release of the 1999 X-Wing X-Wing, and LEGO classified it as a completely new set since the different set number. However, it didn't get as much praise in 2002 as it did in 1999, so I really just don't think there was an overrated set in 2002. However, there was definitely an overrated set that was released in 2003, possibly the most overrated LEGO Star Wars set of all time, and that is, you guessed it, 10123 Cloud City. This set was released in October of 2003 and retired in March of 2005. It has 698 pieces and retailed for $100 US, and this is, as of now, the most valuable LEGO Star Wars set ever made, with a sealed in the box copy running you anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. Now, as most of you know, the reason this set is so valuable is because of the minifigure lineup, the most notable one obviously being that arm-printed Boba Fett, who has a value of about $3,000. But the other figures are valuable too. Luke and Lando both go for over $500, and the Princess Leia goes for around $150. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this set is overrated because of its value, because I mean, it has that arm-printed Boba Fett, which was the very first LEGO arm-printed minifigure ever made, which is a very big deal, so obviously it's going to be very valuable. And like I said, the other minifigures were pretty good for the time as well. However, that's just the minifigures. The actual build itself is flat out ugly. I've said this a million times, I don't really like LEGO Star Wars sets that are of like the insides of buildings, because they just look sloppy and unproportional, and they're meant for play, but they just don't look good, and oftentimes they don't even have great play features, and this is a perfect case of that. The build is just ugly. Don't get me wrong, the minifigures look great, and that Boba Fett being the very first arm-printed minifigure is a very big deal. However, if you just look at the set as a whole, it's not that great besides the minifigures, and I don't think a lot of people really realize that. Now, despite 2003 having one of the most overrated LEGO Star Wars sets of all time, 2004 on the other hand is kind of in the same boat that 2002 was in. I think every single set released that year was great, and none of them are overrated in any way. No matter how hard I try, I don't really think I could find one that's overrated for any reason. 2004 might not have had a very overrated set, but 2005 definitely did, and in my opinion, that's 7261 Clone Turbo Tank. This set was released in April 2005 and retired in April of 2006. It has 801 pieces and retailed for $90 US, and there are two versions of this set. One version includes a light-up Mace Windu, and the other version includes a normal Mace Windu, and if you want the one with the normal Mace Windu, its value is around $700, and if you want the one with the light-up Mace Windu, its value is northwards of $1,000. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a great set for the millionth time. I don't think an overrated set is a bad set. I just think the build itself is not that great, and it's definitely not as good as people hype it up to be. Yes, the minifigure lineup and all of the different clone troopers included are awesome. However, the build itself is a bit rough, even for 2005, and a lot of people say this is the best set from 2005 and even the best Revenge of the Sith set ever made, and I just don't think that's the case. I think it overshadows the actual best set from 2005, which in my opinion is 7259 ARC 170 Fighter. Moving on to 2006, I might get some backlash for this, but I have 6211 Imperial Star Destroyer. This set was released in June of 2006 and retired in December of 2008. It has 1,367 pieces and retailed for $100 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $400 to $500. Now, don't get me wrong, this set is incredible. It was the very first play-scale Star Destroyer that LEGO had ever made, and they blew it out of the water, except for one thing that literally nobody talks about, which is the big open window in the bridge. LEGO wanted to make it to where you could put minifigures in the bridge, which I think wasn't a bad idea. However, I think having a window in the bridge was a terrible idea. Every part of this Star Destroyer looks absolutely perfect. Even the shaping of the bridge looks perfect. However, that window right there with the exposed Technic beam and then the minifigures really does take away from the look of the ship, and people don't really point that out that often. However, besides that, again, the rest of the set is perfect. Moving on to 2007, I have another set that I'm probably gonna get some backlash for, and that is 7654 Droids Battle Pack. This set was released in January of 2007 and retired in July of 2008. It has 102 pieces and retailed for $10 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $80 to $100. Now, this is one of the most legendary battle packs ever made, and for good reason. So far, it's the only standalone Battle Droid battle pack that we've ever gotten, and it includes 7 battle droids, that being 3 super battle droids and 4 regular battle droids. And it is a great battle pack. It's a perfect army builder. However, I think it gets praised a little too much just because it is the only droid battle pack we've gotten. However, a lot of people don't really realize that the minifigures in this set are just battle droids. Yes, it does what a battle pack's supposed to do, but it's not like it includes 7 super rare exclusive figures. They're just battle droids that most of us probably own. But still, in terms of army building, this is one of the most legendary sets ever made. Moving on to 2008, just continuing with sets that I'm probably gonna get backlash for, I have 7675 ATTE Walker. This set was released in July of 2008 and retired in June of 2010. It has 798 pieces and retailed for $90 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $600 to $800. Now, I think the actual ATTE itself is a really nice model in this set, especially for 2008. There are a few large gaps here and there, but it's not that big of a deal. I think the rest of the model looks really nice. However, my main problem with this set, and I feel like a problem that nobody really points out, is that the minifigure lineup feels kind of incomplete. I think it really would have benefited from having one extra plain white clone trooper, or maybe just not even including the battle droid and just having another clone trooper. It definitely would have made the minifigure lineup more complete, and if you're one of those people that think you had to have figures from both sides in this set, I honestly think that LEGO could have included an extra battle droid and an extra white clone trooper on top of the minifigures that are already there. And also, I honestly think they could have left out Rhoda since he was already in the Twilight. Moving on to 2009, I have 8039 Venator class Republic Attack Cruiser. This set was released in June of 2009 and retired in December of 2011. It has 1,170 pieces and retailed for $120 US, and if you want the set new today, it's currently going for around $600 to $700. Now, I think today in 2024, people can really see how this set was overrated. However, if I were to say this set was overrated like 6 or 7 years ago, people would probably think I was crazy, because for the longest time, this set got so much praise because it was the only vendor that LEGO had made, and people failed to realize that the model itself doesn't look that great, even for 2009, especially for 2009 actually, because we got the dropship that year, which is one of the most impressive models ever made. But the Venator, on the other hand, just didn't look that good. The shaping was way off, most notably how the front panel slopes down to the point when it's supposed to be completely flat, and how there's just a lack of detail in most areas. I mean, like I said, if I were to say this years ago, people would think I was crazy. However, now I'm pretty sure people are starting to see how this set really wasn't as good as we all thought it was, but I know there's still some people out there that think this set is way better than it actually is. Moving on to 2010, this is another year where I don't really think there was an overrated set. If I had to pick one, it'd be 8129 AT-AT Walker, just because I think this is one of the weaker AT-ATs that LEGO has made, but also every AT-AT LEGO has made is a really good set, so it doesn't really matter. 2011 was yet another year where there really wasn't an overrated set, but if I had to pick one, it would be 7964 Republic Frigate. I think this set does definitely deserve a lot of praise because it's very unique and has a very awesome minifigure lineup. However, I don't think the build is all too crazy. The front half of the build does look very nice, however my main problem is the back half, because the area from the middle portion to the engines is just 2 flat plates, and it kind of makes the back half just look overall disproportional. It doesn't like break the whole set for me, I just think it's kind of annoying, and also I think the 2007 Republic Cruiser handled this area a lot better. Moving on to 2012, this year has what I think might be the most overrated LEGO Star Wars set of all time, in my opinion. Yes, even more overrated than the 2003 Cloud City, and that is 9526 Palpatine's Arrest. This set was released in August of 2012 and retired in December of 2013. It has 645 pieces and retailed for $90 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $600. Now, this set is in the exact same boat that Cloud City is in. It's a set where the build is the inside of a building, so it just doesn't look that great, and it's super popular because of exclusive minifigures. And I do have to say, it was nice that we got all of these Jedi in one set. However, the only exclusive character we got in this set was Agent Kolar. The other characters have appeared in other sets, and also, not to mention, none of the figures in this set have leg printing besides Anakin, and he has barely any. I mean, at least the 2003 Cloud City had revolutionary figures at the time. I mean, we had the first arm printed minifigure ever, and it happened to be Boba Fett. But in this set, which released almost 10 years later, we got some some cool new Jedi, however, they don't have any leg printing. And then on top of that, the build is just not that good. It's definitely better than the build in Cloud City, I'll give it that. However, it's still the inside of a building, it doesn't look good on display, and there's not a whole lot of play features in it, although I do like the airspeeder that's included, so I'll give it that. Moving on to 2013, I have 75020 Jabba's Sail Barge. This set was released in June of 2013 and retired in December of 2014. It has 850 pieces and retailed for $120 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $400 to $500. Now, I think the minifigure lineup in this set is great, and I also think the build looks really nice. It's very sleek, and they captured the shape of Jabba's Sail Barge very well. However, I think it was very overpriced, and the build is also very small, and I think a lot of people don't really realize how small this build is and how overpriced the set was, and also it wrongfully overshadows the 2006 Sail Barge, which I think is easily the better one of the two. The Sail Barge itself is way bigger, and it has way more play features because it also includes a desert skiff and the Sarlacc pit. Yet for some reason, everyone praises the 2013 model and forgets about the 2006 model. Moving on to 2014, which in my opinion was the best year of LEGO Star Wars. Every single set that year was great, and today in 2024, I don't think any of them are very overrated. However, again, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be 75053 The Ghost. And the only reason I'm picking this is because a few years ago, this set was very overrated because it was the only Ghost that LEGO had made, but once the new one came out last year in 2023, it just crapped all over the 2014 version, and people realized it really wasn't as great of a set as we thought. Moving on to 2015, I have 75093 Death Star Final Duel. This set was released in June of 2015 and retired in December of 2016. It has 724 pieces and retailed for $80 US, and if you want this set new today, it's currently going for around $100 to $150. Now, I don't think this is a bad set. This is one of the few times where I'll say that a set that is based off of the inside of a building actually looks pretty good. However, the reason I say it's overrated is because a lot of people consider this to be one of the best play sets from 2015, and I don't think that's the case at all. It wrongfully overshadows some other great sets from 2015, such as the 75086 Battle Droid Troop Carrier and the 75083 ATDP. Moving on to 2016, I have 75157 Captain Rex's ATTE. This set was released in June of 2016 and retired in December of 2017. It has 972 pieces and retailed for $120 US, and if you want the set new today, it's currently going for around $300 to $400. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the minifigure lineup in this set. I love how we got all the old clone troopers as well as the Inquisitors. However, that's the minifigures. I think the set itself is pretty ugly. I think LEGO did a good job on it because they captured the look of it very well. I mean, I think it's pretty accurate. However, Captain Rex's ATTE in Star Wars is just kind of ugly, so obviously the LEGO set is gonna be pretty ugly too. I mean, I'm glad that LEGO made this set because it really was the only set that could have included old Captain Rex and the Inquisitor. However, I just think a lot of people fail to realize that this set just looks pretty ugly. Moving on to 2017, I'm gonna get some backlash for this, but I have 75192 Millennium Falcon. This set was released in October of 2017 and has not retired yet. It has 7,541 pieces, making it the biggest LEGO Star Wars set ever made, with a retail price of $850. Now, really, this set isn't super overrated. I just had to pick a set for 2017. However, there is one annoyance I have with this set that I have not seen anyone else besides me point out, and that is that, well, this Millennium Falcon is supposed to have a full minifigure scale interior. However, it does not include the hallways. And actually, no Millennium Falcon that LEGO has ever made includes the hallways, and I was expecting this one to when it came out, but it didn't. It just includes two stickers that kind of suggest that the hallways are there. However, they are actually not physically there, and the hallways are arguably one of the most iconic areas of the Millennium Falcon, and they just didn't include them in a set that's supposed to be a minifigure scale recreation of it. And now moving on to 2018, which is arguably the worst year of LEGO Star Wars, I'm going with 75230 Porg. This set was released in October of 2018 and retired in December of 2019. It has 811 pieces and retailed for $70 US, and if you want the set new today, it's currently going for around $130 to $160. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent, and really, I don't have a reason to say this set is overrated. I dislike it, honestly, just because I have a huge bias against Porgs because they were annoying as crap throughout all of the sequels, so therefore I don't really like this set. I mean, it's not even really overrated, it's just personal bias. I don't like Porgs. Moving on to 2019, I don't really think there was an overrated set this year, but if I had to pick one, it would be 75234 ATAP Walker, and I think this is an incredible set. It's one of my favorite sets in my collection. I love the build, I love the minifigure lineup. However, the reason I would suggest that that it's a little bit overrated is because people think this is the best ATAP, and I don't think it's the best ATAP. I mean, it's a great model, I just think the 2014 model is a little bit better. Moving on to 2020, this is another year that I think didn't really have an overrated set, but since I have to pick one, I'm going with 75292, the Razor Crest. This set was released in September of 2020 and just retired in December of 2023. It has 1,023 pieces and retailed for $140 US. Now, I think this is a great set. I just think it might have gotten a little bit too overhyped just because it was released at the height of The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian is backed by a lot of newer Star Wars fans, so obviously this is going to be a popular set, and I admit it's a great set. I just don't think it's everything that it's cracked up to be, and also I think it's a little bit overpriced. I think $140 was a bit of a stretch. I think it should have been $120. Moving on to 2021, I have 75301, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing Fighter. This set was released in January of 2021 and retired in December of 2023. It has 474 pieces and retailed for $50 US, and when this set was released, it got a lot of backlash from actual LEGO Star Wars fans because it was pretty downsized compared to the X-Wings that we had seen in the past, and I've seen a lot of people trying to justify that by saying, oh, it makes it cheaper, or oh, it's more accurate than the other X-Wings, but no, it's not. It's downsized. I mean, it looks good, it has some nice proportions and nice detailing, however, it is very downsized and very puny compared to the other LEGO X-Wings. Moving on to 2022, I'm going with 75341, Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder. This set was released in May of 2022 and has not retired yet. It has 1,890 pieces and retails for $240. Now, in my opinion, talk about a waste of a UCS spot. There had been online discussion about the idea of a UCS Luke's Landspeeder literally since like 2015 up until this set came out, and in the midst of all of that discussion, I always thought that would be a terrible idea for a UCS set. Yes, I know UCS sets are oversized, especially the Starfighters, but the Starfighters actually look good when they're oversized. However, this isn't a Starfighter, it's a Landspeeder, a very small vehicle, and for LEGO to blow it up this much into a $200 UCS set, I just don't think it was a good idea. Like, if this is the case, we might as well be getting UCS Staffs and UCS Spark Speeders from now on. And now finally, moving on to 2023, I know I put the Ghost in the thumbnail and that might have deceived some of you. However, no, I don't think the new Ghost is overrated at all. The actual most overrated set in 2023, in my opinion, was 75349 Captain Rex Helmet. This set was released in March of 2023 with 854 pieces and a retail price of $70 US, and it was super hyped up because it was the Captain Rex helmet that we had been waiting so long for, and I just don't think LEGO did as good of a job as they could have. Out of the 3 helmet sets released in 2023, I think this one was the weakest, and I don't think it's near as good as the Commander Cody helmet, which I think is one of the best helmet sets ever made. The proportions are a bit off. I don't think LEGO did a good job at capturing the shape of his helmet, and honestly, they kind of made it look more like a Stormtrooper helmet than a clone helmet. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about my picks down in the comments below, and what you think are some of the most overrated LEGO Star Wars sets. And if you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them linked on screen right now.